Yeah, I guess I have a lot of trouble hearing physicians or politicians come on TV or radio and say, you know, we don't know what medical marijuana does cognitively to the brain of these young kids. And any parent who's got a kid with epilepsy who's having seizures, we know what that does cognitively to them, to their brains.
In November 2013, the Bottker family bought a home in Colorado so their youngest daughter Greta could have access to medical marijuana. Currently, medical marijuana is illegal in their home state of Minnesota.
We have a farm back in Minnesota, so I need to go back pretty soon and get the planting done. And the older two girls, they're busy in school back in Minnesota, and Maria's got a nursing job back in Minnesota.
For now, Maria and Mark take turns caring for Greta in Colorado.
Greta actually was born perfectly healthy, great little girl. And at 5 months, she just started randomly kind of staring, oddly. We called physicians and got her in for an MRI and testing, and she was basically diagnosed with epilepsy at 5 months of age. From then until now, her epilepsy has evolved into what's called Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. And Lennox-Gastaut is a severe form of epilepsy that involves Greta having several different types of seizures. So she could have like 4 different kinds of seizures each day. This gal that didn't even know my mom at all came up to her and started asking about Greta, because Greta was with her at the time, and she said, so she has epilepsy, doesn't she? And my mom said, yeah, how did you know that? And so they started talking, and this gal had told her that the best thing that had ever happened to her son who has epilepsy was to run into medical marijuana. Immediately when we heard of it, we were excited. You know, some people say, oh, weren't you weirded out by that? Are you kidding? No, Greta had been to the point where we had tried brain surgeries, we had tried so many meds and failed so many things. We're up for anything. We started researching it online a lot. And then as of August, Dr. Sanjay Gupta had his piece that aired on CNN, and basically we watched that together as a family, and we started making plans the second after that show was done.
Greta's on a form of medical marijuana called Charlotte's Web, and it comes in a liquid form. It's mixed with olive oil. It's high CBD, which is high cannabidiol, yes, and low THC, low psychoactive part. So she has no chance of getting high whatsoever. Before medical marijuana, she has about 15 per day probably. Since medical marijuana, she could have 1 per day. She could have, I suppose, a really bad day, she could have 6, you know.
Back in Minnesota, the legislature will likely vote on a medical marijuana bill this week. Reformers say they have enough votes to legalize medical marijuana, but Governor Mark Dayton may veto the bill. In a recent press conference, Dayton had this advice for people like Greta who could benefit from medical marijuana.
The fact is that you can go out in any city in Minnesota, I'm told, and purchase marijuana. And if you possess less than an ounce of it, an ounce and a half of it, it's a petty misdemeanor. It's a traffic ticket.
This is a chance to help the people that really need it and need certain strains of medical marijuana that we cannot get off the street. We can't just find it anywhere. We've got to get it out here in Colorado, and if we pass this bill, get it through the legislature, we'll be able to find a way to get it to Minnesota.
During the recent medical marijuana debate in Minnesota, Governor Dayton's approval rating dropped from 58% to 49%. Currently, 68% of Minnesotans approve of medical marijuana.
It's time for Minnesota to pass this. We are not going out on a limb here. There is, now 21 other states that have said, yes, we recognize the benefits of this plant. So we just plead with the legislators, and we plead with Governor Dayton to please consider our daughter and our family.